Hello everyone, welcome back. Please comment, rate, subscribe, folks. Comment, rate, subscribe, like the videos. Also share the videos. I want to thank everyone that does like, watch, and share my videos. You folks are the absolute best. Listen folks, there's a link tree down below. Has the links to all of my social media platforms. Please get down there. Follow me across all my social media platforms or talk to me because I talk back. Also down there as well as the links to all of my YouTube pages. Please go down there, subscribe to all my YouTube pages, and turn on your notifications so when I post content, you folks will be in the know. Listen folks. Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, we'll be doing a live radio show right here. Please call in. Call in. We'll be talking all things New York Jets. We'll be talking everything all the drama surrounding this Jets franchise at this point. So please call in. I love going back and forth with folks about this football team. So with that said and done and put to the side, I've come to talk to you folks today about the New York Jets possibly trading Marcus Maye. Marcus Maye, is already put out there. A lot of rumors swirling, and he's come out and, it's been reported that he said that he prefers to be traded to a contender. Oh boy, here we go again, right? With this guy, Marcus Maye and the Jets. For those of you that don't know, this whole drama started with the New York Jets and Marcus Maye, between New York Jets and Marcus Maye. Kind of started, this past offseason, okay? Last season, Marcus Maye was phenomenal. Let's not mess around. This guy played extremely well for a team that was terrible, all right? Absolutely terrible. You go back last season, he made a lot of great plays. He was all over the place, all over the field, a guy that never quit, a guy that consistently showed leadership ability, right? When all those things were going on with Jamal Adams and we shoved him out of here and all the nonsense that was going on with people coming out and talking about the Jets and gays and all this stuff, right? Marcus Maye was a guy that just went out there and left it all on the field. He was a quiet guy, leader, a guy that led by example and set the example for the New York Jets, especially defensively. He was a guy that was out there flying around. We saw him making plays in games that we won, and we saw him going out there and making plays even in games that we lost. That Raiders game, you watch that game, we ended up eventually losing that game, but he was out there really playing his butt off, So we go into the offseason, and every New York Jets fan pretty much is saying, especially me, was saying, hey, look, we need to keep Marcus Maye. We need to keep this guy around. We need to make sure that he stays a Jet. Let's do whatever we can to sign and keep our own. Well, eventually, it didn't work out, okay? The numbers that Marcus Maye was looking for per year seemed to be way far different than what Joe Douglas was willing to give him per year. Marcus Maye even came out and said that he went to other teams and talked to them about what they thought he was worth per year, and it was different than the New York Jets. So things couldn't get worked out. We eventually ended up franchise tagging him, and that's when all heck broke loose. Oh, boy. Well, the second he got, the franchise tag was brought out, he came out and started saying things about the New York Jets front office and our general manager and all these things about the team. His agent, oh my goodness, his agent, Eric Burkhart, oh God, he wouldn't stop. He was all over social media. He wouldn't shut up. He was constantly bashing the Jets. He was talking about how the Jets don't appreciate leaders, how they don't keep their guys, and no wonder some players want to leave. All this stuff. He was just constantly doing this and saying things, right? So then it ends up, he signs the franchise tag. Now he's playing on a $10.6 million deal. Now, then Marcus Maye goes down a couple weeks ago, okay, with an ankle injury. He just kind of popped up and he's been, listed, hey, he's going to be out 3 to 4 weeks. Then all of a sudden his agent tweets out right after, he pops up there, hey, don't worry, Marcus Maye will be back and healthy right before the trade deadline. And it's like, wait a minute. Why would you say something like that? He'll be back right before the trade deadline, guys. Like, what is going on here? So that's something else that, especially, us within the fan base, we're looking like, it brought a lot of question marks surrounding the injury, and it also brought a lot of question marks surrounding Marcus Maye's relationship, again, with this front office. So the trade deadline is November the 2nd, all right? And at this point, I'm looking at it like this. Listen, I love Marcus Maye. I think he's a great player, okay? I've been on record, and I've been correct, as saying that Marcus Maye was the best cover safety, even when Jamal Adams was here, that he was a better safety than Jamal Adams. And if you've seen it, you've seen the versatility and all the things that he shows. As much as I respect Marcus Maye, as much as I really love Marcus Maye as a player, I love his skill set, I love what he brings to the table, it's time to go. It's time to go. You know, if you know me, you know, I ain't got time for the drama, okay? The New York Jets have tried what they can to keep this guy. They've tried to work it out with him. He's a phenomenal safety. But I'm done, dude. I don't want to keep on with the drama, especially with all the other things we got going on when they're rebuild. If this guy wants to be, you know, moved on from and traded somewhere, then by goodness, let's just do it. Let's find somewhere to send him, and let's get solid compensation back, though. The one thing I don't want to do is let this guy walk out the door for pennies. No, I'm not going to let you walk out the door for pennies. That's not happening, okay? If it's pennies, then you're going to be staying here, brother. That's what I'll tell you right now. We are not just moving on from Marcus Maye to move on from Marcus Maye, okay? We're absolutely going to keep this guy if it's about pennies, but if we can get some solid compensation back from a team, then go ahead and send him there. I have no issues with that. Now, here's the thing that's going to make it really hard to, what I believe is going to make it kind of hard to get solid compensation back from Marcus Maye. Marcus Maye has DUI charges, you know, swirling around his head right now. There's some legal things going on that are swirling around his head. He's got a court date a little bit later this month, and they'll figure out, you know, the pleas and all these things, but he just got in trouble with a DUI arrest. It happened in February 2020. You know, he was, you know, flying down a street in Florida, ended up hitting a Volvo, and, you know, they ended up arresting him. He seemed like he was out of it. They smelled his, his car. He seemed like he was intoxicated. He had throw up all over him. It was all kinds of things, right? And he's also may look to get a civil suit from that situation as well. So with that still swirling over his head, you got to think, how many teams are going to be willing to give you big compensation for a guy with all that going on around him? You know, and also there was questions about whether it was properly reported to the NFL or to the Jets, because again, according to reports, our own beat didn't even know about it until recently. So they didn't even know about it. And again, this happened in February of 2020. So there were questions about that. So now, if you're a team that's looking to trade for him, you got to say to yourself, am I going to trade for a guy that, one, made a decision like this, and then two, seemingly didn't report it to the team that he was actually playing for, and they just kind of found out about it? You got to wonder, you know, can I give this guy money? Can I trust him? That will play into the type of compensation that you get back for him. So we'll see what we can get back. The two teams that are really kind of linked and floating around in these rumors are the Rams and the Bucks. The Bucks, you know, Todd Bowles is there. Todd Bowles actually coached Marcus Maye when he was here as a coach. So I look at the situation, and I look at JD, our general manager. I do have faith that we'll get decent compensation back, especially when you look at the history of Joe Douglas being here. We got rid of Jamal Adams for, you know, 2 first-rounders and some other picks as well, but there wasn't anybody, especially not me, and I was screaming to get rid of that guy. I didn't think we were going to get 2 first-rounders for him. You know, for a limited box safety, 2 first-rounders, that is unbelievable, you know, capital to get back. He also ended up trading Chris Herndon, who was a terrible tight end. We got rid of him and got a 4th-rounder back. So for me, I'm looking to at least, you know, get a 2nd-round pick plus for Marcus Maye, maybe plus, you know, some change, maybe a 4th rounder, a 2nd or 4th rounder, and maybe a 3rd rounder next year or something else next year, and I'd be willing to move on and be okay with it. I know that there's a lot of fans screaming about, you know, possibly O.J. Howard from the Bucks and some change. I'm not really interested in O.J. Howard. I think we need to go after, you know, players that play positions of impact, because that's something that we're struggling with on this team. Maybe a corner or something like that, and some change, and maybe a little bit of compensation after that. But I'm not really interested in going after O.J. Howard, because I know there's a lot of Jets fans that were screaming about that. But man, it's time to move on at this point, and you know, we'll see if the Jets are able to move on from it. So comment down below, let me know what you folks think. What would you take, you know, for Marcus Maye? What kind of compensation do you think the New York Jets would be able to get back from him? What's the least amount of compensation you think it would take the Jets to move on from him? So I want to hear from you folks. So comment down below, let me know what you folks think. You folks have a good one. Peace.